Good morning. I hope you had a wonderful weekend, a wonderful week. It's been a whole week since we talked. I was thinking about what to talk about today for the Monday message. And I keep coming back to how do you get through the tough times when you're going through a tough time? Um, you know, God knows I've had my share of tough times throughout my life, starting, you could say, with Amy, when I lost Amy, um, getting sober, getting out of this really bad toxic relationship, all these things that when you're in, and of course, my son and his health scare when he was 9 years old, so all of these things have, one thing in common for me. When you're going through these incredibly challenging life storms, it feels like an abyss. It feels like it'll never end. It feels like you are literally trapped in darkness, and and you're just trying to find a way out of the darkness. And unfortunately, I've had a few of my friends who sought to fix the darkness with eternal darkness, as suicide, which is not a choice. It's never the answer, because there's always a light. There's always a light to be found somewhere. And you just have to look for the light sometimes, even if it's just a little pinprick of light. It's there, you know? And then you just have to keep like walking through the darkness to that light. When I think like when I lost Amy, it was really the biggest hit I'd ever had in my life at the time. For those of you who don't know, my best friend in college, Amy Blunt, she was murdered my, I guess, junior year of college. And I totally lost it. And the light I sought necessarily wasn't the best light. It was alcohol, and that definitely didn't fix anything. Um, but I did seek like a divine solution. I did start like starting to go back to church. Even if I was still drinking, I was connecting with God, and I would I would go to church. I started going to church every Sunday again after that, because that's where I connected with my higher power, who I choose to call God. Whatever you use or choose for your connection to your higher power, whether it be Buddha, Allah, God, whatever your higher power is, love. I mean, ultimately, it all ties together to love, and seeking the love of this and comfort of this healing higher power to come during these dark, dark times. And that was that little spark that was lit back then that I believe led me ultimately to getting sober when everything else went like down the tube, because I was seeking the false light of alcohol instead of the bright light of my higher power to fix me. And so when it finally, that false light failed me, I had to reach for that brighter light, but I didn't know I was going to be reaching for that brighter light. I knew that I needed help and I needed answers. So, and it was probably, one of the second most darkest times of my life is realizing that I was an alcoholic, and I couldn't depend on alcohol anymore to fix me, which I had been doing. I had to find something else and fill this, like they talk about, this God-sized hole in the heart. And just walking through that dark time, seeking the light. And for me, that light was other people who led me to my higher power. Other people like myself who was able to find, and they told me, hey, you can't do this, but there's a higher power up there, bigger bigger than anything you could imagine, that can save your life. And you just have to trust and rely on this higher power. And luckily, I had the God of my understanding that I was connected with, because I had started going back to my religion of my upbringing to help that, because that's where I knew to find my solace with my God. And that saved me, for a while. But I sought this other really bad relationship, and I moved over the I pushed God aside for this other guy, who I decided I was going to make my higher power, and it turned out to be a really bad situation, as a really bad relationship that I found myself in, and I was trapped because I had made this guy my higher power, and I remember finally having to let go of that higher power of this guy, this false higher power once again, and treating him just like I treated alcohol, and saying, got to cut it off. I got to seek the real source. And I remember feeling super, super lost in the dark at that time as well. But there was that pinprick of light. And I knew I just had to keep walking towards that pinprick of light. And that was my hope. It was that little bit of light. And as I kept walking towards it, and I knew it was going to hurt, and I knew I was going to bump into things, and I knew I might even fall down, but I had to keep my eye on that little light. And I kept walking. And as the days went on, that little light got bigger and bigger, because it got closer and closer, and it grew and grew into this amazing light one day where I was totally free of all of it, because the inner light of my God of my understanding, was shining through me, inside of me. It was definitely an inside job. And it was a matter of getting through the tough times, and trusting that God's going to be there on the other side. So I guess that's my message that ended up coming out today. And as I'm saying it, like the light's coming through the window, which is beautiful. It's I guess it was the message to be: seek the light today. So if you're going through a tough time, know that just keep going towards that light. Keep going towards that light, whatever that light is, that little pinprick of light, because the light will get bigger and bigger as you keep walking towards it. And one day you'll be free. And it doesn't feel like it at the time. When you're going through it at the time, it never feels like it. It feels like you're going to be in it forever, but you won't. You don't have to do it alone either. You've always got this higher power, God, Allah, Buddha, whatever you want to call your connection to the universe of love. It's all you. That's your relationship. That's your concept of God or your higher power. So I wish you a beautiful, God-filled, higher power-filled week. And if you're going through a tough time, seek that light. Keep going towards it. You'll get there. You can do it, because there's nothing you and your higher power can't get through. All right. That's all I got. Hope you have a wonderful week, and I'll see you next week for another Monday message. Bye.